you ever been puzzled by a piece of code that just doesn't seem to work? It can be incredibly frustrating, especially when you're trying to learn something new. If you've ever wondered when to use global variables initializer in TensorFlow, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to clarify that for you. I totally get it. You're not alone in feeling confused about when to initialize variables in TensorFlow. Many users face this issue, especially when dealing with constants and variables. It's a common hurdle in the learning process. Let's dive into the specific question at hand. One user asked, when is global variables initializer actually required? They provided a code snippet where they noticed that commenting out certain lines caused a crash. Sound familiar? If you're facing similar issues, let's explore this together. So what's going on here? In TensorFlow, constants like x do not need initialization, but variables like y do. If you try to use y without initializing it, TensorFlow will throw an error. Understanding this distinction is crucial for avoiding crashes. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a quick tip that will help you avoid these kinds of issues in the future. To understand when the global variables initializer is required, the user should first recognize that TensorFlow uses a session to manage variables. In this case, the user has defined a constant and a variable. Next, the user should note that constants like x do not require initialization. However, variables like y must be initialized before they can be used in computations. Now, if the user wants to use the variable y, they must call the global variables initializer. This is done by uncommenting the line that initializes the model. Finally, when the user runs the session, they should ensure that both the constant and the variable are properly initialized. This will prevent any crashes and allow the program to execute successfully. Fun fact, did you know that TensorFlow was originally developed by researchers and engineers from the Google Brain team? It's come a long way since then, making deep learning more accessible to everyone. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user explains that the global variables initializer initializes all variables listed by tf.globalVariables. This is particularly useful in distributed environments where the graph may be spread across different computing nodes. Let's take a look at an answer from another user. According to another user, the global variables initializer is not strictly required unless you're using declared TensorFlow variables or placeholders within your session run. They suggest making it a habit to include this initializer as part of your boilerplate code when working with TensorFlow models. Here's that quick tip I promised. Always remember to initialize your variables before using them in TensorFlow. This simple step can save you a lot of headaches down the line. And there you have it. You now know when to use global variables initializer in TensorFlow. Remember, understanding variable initialization is key to smooth coding. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.